Hey you guys, I was gonna try to schedule this so people had a little bit of time to get on, but I sat down and noticed it was already 9 o'clock, so I went ahead and hopped on. But I do have to run and grab something for Kennedy. So as you hop on, just say hello, and I will be back. And hopefully people are getting their notifications tonight. If not, that's gonna suck. Let's see. What is that? Hello, Sugary Sweet. Hey, you guys. Hey, Linda. I'm doing good. Brittany, how are you doing? Today was a super busy day. Kennedy did not take a nap at all. So I did not get to stream during the day, which, hey, Amanda. Which that's why I normally don't plan to do day streams, because I know that I can't. Like in the morning when when she gets up, usually after the boys get on the bus, they get on the bus at 7. I go ahead and like make her breakfast, start picking up the house, and she'll wake up like 7:30 or so. And we'll eat and we'll play for a minute, and then I'll finish picking back up, and then I'll get ready to film if I can. Oh, looks like I'm going out to party. This was what I wore today, although I did just throw my hair up in a bun, and it's kind of lopsided, but that's okay. This was just what I wore today. I had to go run some errands today. Hey, 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 Trisha. What's up, Cheryl? I do feel like my eyebrows are a little darker than normal. I'm going to go grab something for Kennedy. Hey, Angel. Hey, Taylor. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sandy. I'm going to go grab something for Kennedy, and give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. We'll give more people a little bit of time to hop on. You scared me, Cadle. I didn't know you were in here. Are you hungry? Did you not eat dinner?
I didn't eat that spaghetti.
Why not?
I didn't want it.
well. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me tell you what Kennedy did. Oh, I know. I'm dreading the autopsy. Kennedy decided to get into the laundry room today and get a whole bottle, get the stain remover, and go to my room and pour the entire bottle out on my floor. I cannot talk tonight. So yeah, my room smells like chemicals. That's what she does. She is just something else. I know, right? These is not gonna stain. Kaden, will you grab me a root beer, baby? 2-year-olds. Hey, Chakoti. Yeah, they're definitely gonna make a movie from what I hear, but he shouldn't be able to profit off of it at all. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Woodward, my mother-in-law's last name, maiden name is Woodard. Little different, but I almost thought it was the same for a second. Oh, they actually have the cast listed, honestly. We did look at that last time. I'll look it up really quick. Hey, from Granby, Colorado. Is it pronounced Granby? Let's see. Chris Watts, movie cast. Hey, Day Day Brown. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. Okay, I honestly cannot even pronounce this guy's name. It's Sean Clearer. K. I'm going to put it in the chat. And you guys can tell me. I know it's Sean. That's my hubby's name. Yeah, that's how you spell it. Awesome. I want to say he does play on a soap opera. Honestly. Seems like last time we went over that. Oh, crap. Get up there. Oh, wow. Look, I'm going to try to show you guys this. And this is my son's phone, so excuse it that it's kind of dirty. Hold up. Let me try to adjust the settings. So maybe you guys can see. I wish I could do photo sharing with you guys. If I was on, if I could go live on the laptop, I could do photo sharing with you guys. I gotta figure that out one day. Hey, Rhea. What is going on? Oh, Trisha, thank you. My last super chat got lost. Love you and Flossie. Oh, thank you. I know. I mean, it's like you want to watch. Like I know I'm gonna watch the movie. Like I don't know. Like I can't not watch it. But it's almost like, wow. Ashley Williams will play Shanann. Thank you so much for that super chat. Usually my Chris Watts streams do get like limited advertising, if any at all. So thank you so much for that. Oh my goodness. God, his phone is dirty. I'm gonna have to clean it. Yeah, we are going to do the book tonight, and we are starting on chapter 21, and it will be the autopsy. Linda, I hope your dog is okay. But you're here now, Cheryl. I may have to go move Kennedy. No, you made it. Hey, Kaden. Oh, here's my drink from earlier. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry. Yes, Jessica Gates. We do. If you can message me on Facebook. You know what? Hold on. Oh, thank you, Stina. Let me get it. Let me see if I can get it. Hold on. Here's the thing. I didn't think about it last time, but I shared the link in here, and I could actually probably get in trouble for that because it's kind of like bootlegging, you know. So Jessica, are we on? Do you have me on Facebook? If you have me on social media at all, shoot me a message and remind me. If not, shoot me an email. Okay, add me, shoot me an email or whatever, and just remind me. Be like, hey, I want the link to the book, and you know, and I'll do that for you. I do. Hey, the Kiwi is here. What's up, Emily? You guys, I cut my finger. Cut my finger today. Being in a rush. Oh, this is my real hair. Every bit of it. I don't wear extensions. Well, honestly, I have not checked Instagram all day. And I know I'm going to have so many messages on Instagram. I check email, like, multiple times a day because, like, I get messages from YouTube. I get, like, sometimes people contact me for sponsor deal type thingies, which most of them I've turned down, but I am looking into one. Thank you. I love these earrings. Yes, my voice is getting better. Kennedy poured stain remover. It wasn't necessarily bleach, but it was a shout. That's what she, everywhere. All over my room on the floor. And I have like really like thick, like light brown carpet. Really nice carpet. So it just turned it like a little darker for the time, but probably whenever it dries, it'll go back to, hopefully it'll go back to its regular color. Well, I've had a few different people contact me. And I've not turned them down, but it's just things that I don't really make sense for me. Like one offer I had was to promote like organic feminine wipes. You know, and I was like, my channel is like teen mom gossip. Like, it just doesn't make sense for me to all of a sudden. I mean, even beauty sometimes, but I don't know, like, that should, I don't know, like, and I looked at from what I could understand anyways, it was like the same thing that was in your regular feminine products. Like, same thing, really. Like, the packaging was different or whatever. I don't know. So, there's been a few things that, and what mods do I have on here? Okay, I have Candace. Looks like I just have Candace. Hey, Candace, do you remember the company that reached out to me? And when I didn't get back to them, like, right away, they was like, nobody would, like, you're not some big shot. I literally just didn't get back to them in a time. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Like, let me kind of look into it, you know, because I'd like to research or, like, figure out a little bit about whoever they are, the company or whatever. And someone contacted me. I do not remember who, like, what brand or whatever it was, but I just told them, like, to give me some time to, like, look into it. And they was like, you're not a big YouTuber, like, really? Like, and I was like, you should be lucky that, like, people are, like, that I even looked at you, like, you know, looked your way for, and contacted you for this, but you're not even and I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind. Definitely not going to mess with that then, if you are already being mean like that. I don't really know what they wanted me to do, because I just kind of, like, it was just really, like, the feminine product thing was just really weird for me, because I was like, I mean, I don't know. I guess what I would do is, like, make, like, a short commercial type video for them and promote the product. That, I think that's what they wanted. Yeah. Cheryl, were you still there? I know, Scarlett, this was like, I actually didn't even know it was like 9 o'clock. I was actually setting up to schedule the stream, and I looked down at the time on the laptop, and I was like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. I gotta go right now. Yeah, I wouldn't want to work with anyone like that either. But I did just talk to a company called In Stylish, maybe, reached out to me, and they have, like, makeup products, like brushes and sponges, and they said they really like my style. It was like, we really like your style on YouTube, and would love to send you, like, some brushes for you to try out, and if you like them, you could, you know, kind of talk about them. So I did, I looked into the company, and I'm gonna give that a shot. But I'm not gonna promote anything that I don't like, that does not work good for me. And, like, some people that contact you, they're like, we'll send you the product and you do a video on it. And I'm like, I can't promise you that I'm gonna do a video. I mean, I can, but I may say I don't really like it if I don't like it. You know, like, would you rather me do a video and say I don't like it, or would you rather me not do a video at all? Oh, thank you, Sandy. We're going to do, we're not going to do Teen Mom Young and Pregnant tonight, but we are going to do it. We are. You guys, even if we have to do it, like, Friday or something. Yeah, like, if I wouldn't like it, I mean, I don't know what the point would be for me to do the video, but, you know, tomorrow is Sean's birthday. So I don't think I'm going to stream tomorrow, you guys. I know tomorrow's, like, Floribama Shore is the second episode, and it's my hubby's birthday, and he is going to come home tomorrow, and I'm going to make him a cake, and I'm going to make him his favorite dinner. So I think tomorrow I'm just going to hang out with the hubby. Can you give everyone in St. Paul, Minnesota a shout out? What's up, St. Paul? Ryan Campbell. That name sounds familiar. What are your Turkey Day plans? Well, we are supposed to go to Flossie's house for Thanksgiving. Hopefully, she will be out of the hospital by then. Wait, I think you would do well in the James Charles competition thing. Wait, what's the James Charles competition thing? Wishing him a happy birthday from the Tallywhackers. Exactly. Oh, yes, Rachel. Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I was on the phone. I was on the phone today with Sean, and I got off the phone, and I was like, you know what? Like, I haven't even checked Instagram today at all. But I was like, I probably have a ton of messages on Facebook, and I counted them, and I counted like 27 unopened messages, and it was literally like just from the time I was like on the phone with Sean. I didn't even check Instagram or Twitter or my email, but it's been crazy lately because I do get a lot of messages, but I try to respond to everyone. If I don't, give me time. Jaeger bombs. I've never had a Jaeger bomb. I got these earrings at, oh God, I think I got them at my cousin's shop. My cousin owns a shop called Gypsy Boutique. Wait, yeah, Gypsy Boutique? Yeah. Um, uh, just let me know and I'll be on the lookout for it, Rachel. Like if you tell me tonight you're going to send it, I'll check my Instagram. When I used to drink back in the day, it was like Tequila Rose, Smirnoff, Amaretto Sours. I was not really a beer girl, but all right, you guys, we've been on. He's on a competition that's like to be a beauty influencer. That would be cool. Like, do you have to know how to do makeup? Because I mean, I'm not a pro at that. I can do mine, but you know. I'm not an energy drink girl either. Just kidding. These are the only energy drinks I do drink, though. Love Amaretto Sour. Me and Sean used to make our own. Smirnoff was like the bomb back in the day. Oh, yes, Cassandra sent it to me. Well, that would be cool. I didn't even know about it because I haven't really been on like social media a lot. Because I've been responding to messages. I've had a few lengthy phone conversations today. And then my 10-minute video about the Duggars literally took me forever because Kennedy kept coming to get me and like coming in here and sitting in my lap, and we would just kind of sit here and play for a minute and it would record the whole time. So when I went back and edited it, I had to edit out like 20 minutes of me and her playing and, you know, me out of the chair for 10 minutes. I did see that David said that he never loved Janelle, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of wonder if that's his way of still trying to like be in control. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. I didn't love her anyways. But how do you marry someone and not love them? I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess if he didn't, then maybe he's kind of like Chris Watts. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he's that type of person. I don't know. Yeah, he loved controlling Janelle, for sure. Seems like, I mean, the way he just didn't let her do anything was crazy. Scarlett, thank you so much for putting timestamps on the videos because I never get started like the first 5 minutes into it. I just started watching T-Mom. What do you think, Stina? Do you think so? Whoops. I just spit that out. I gotta watch it again. I saw the Cheeto eye palette too. Like, saw the video that he done. I didn't see the video. But I saw like the thumbnail for the video. Hey, EMZ. Yeah. I remember things like that too. And then all of a sudden he just wanted, like, Nathan had to go through him. Couldn't talk to her. It was not Jeffree Star approved. I don't really do bold colors. Like, the most I may do is like a little yellow when I wear a yellow shirt. I done blue once, and to me, like, it didn't really fit me. And then one time I done like a smoky eye, and I done a video, and somebody was like, "What's wrong with your eyes?" Whoops, my bad. So last time that'll happen. We have not started yet. We were just letting people hop on. Thank you, 420 Flower Power. Good evening. I know. Combos and Red Bull. That's what it is. We're going to get started on the book. Oh, and Flossie is not in the hospital herself. Abe is still in the hospital. So, a while ago when I said that if Flossie was home from the hospital, we would be doing Thanksgiving at her house. Someone asked what's wrong with Flossie. She's still there with Abe. So, she's fine, though. Probably bored out of her mind. Probably tired. Because when you're in the hospital... Hey, Amanda. When you're in the hospital, they literally come in there a million times in the middle of your night. In the middle of the night. Beer. Hey, Brandy. Yep, prayers for Abe. My day has been good. No haters. Only motivators. That's what my son says. Like, my haters are my motivators. Like, that's right, baby. Flossie, is it looking like Abe's coming home anytime soon? Well, Abe was in the hospital because he had pneumonia. One of his lungs collapsed. Fever. Flossie could tell you better than I could. But does he still have pneumonia, Flossie? No. Oh, thank you, Tony. You guys brighten up my night. Double ear infection, sinus infection, pneumonia, rhinovirus, and that other word. What is that? Okay, what is that word and rhinovirus? I've never heard of those two, Flossie. Oh, which Daddy did tell me he had rhinovirus, but I still didn't know what it was. And Daddy wasn't too sure either. Maybe it's just easier if I look it up or something rather than you typing all that out. Oh, okay. So the one before rhinovirus would be the lung collapse, and then, okay. Oh, a virus that just causes a lot of snotty congestion. Okay. All right. Scarlett said we can start because Scarlett has a beer. When I talked to Floss, 2 beers. Scarlett's like, I got 2. And I got 3 Red Bulls, so we are all set to go. Not sleeping tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Aww. That's horrible, Amzy. And what's so sad about that is, like, you obviously, if your kid is sticking their hand down their throat, you know, it's like they're like, get it out, get it out. And Abe, he can't do that at all. Well, Abe gets pneumonia all the time. Flossie, what does Abe have? He has like some sort of disease that actually, where he will get pneumonia all the time. He has like a lung disease. Wait, he has BPD. That's borderline personality disorder. What are you talking about? That is, he don't have BPD. What are you talking about? Oh, gotcha. I'm like, no, he doesn't. He is a baby, and he just lays there like he's the sweetest thing. How do we know he has that? Okay, so is what Flossie put up there. Go back to what Flossie said. She explained what BPD is. Pulmonary dysplasia. And the word before that. So, which translates to junky lungs. Our poor little Abe, you guys, if you're ever around him, like he's always, like, you guys have heard him. If you've been on a stream and he's been here, like you can hear him. When he breathes, you hear him. Because it sounds like he's snoring all the time. Okay. All right. No, Flossie's not sick, I don't think. Last time I talked to her, she wasn't. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started, you guys. Bye-bye, Taylor. Yes, he does. He does have his adenoids, right, Flossie? I've never heard of him having them removed. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Teresa. We will get started. We've been on for about 30 minutes, so we'll go ahead. Okay, yeah, he does. We're going to go ahead and get started, and I feel like this is going to be difficult. We are on chapter 21, and it is the chapter where they do the autopsy. All right, so it's not very long. Wow, how did I just do that? All right. It does say the following is not the full autopsy. It is the observation of the autopsy. So on Friday, August 17th, 2018, approximately 10 a.m., 2 CBI agents, along with several others, gathered for the autopsy of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste Watts. The autopsy was done at the McKeel Medical Center in Loveland, Colorado. Prior to the autopsies, an email was read aloud, which included a request by the public defender's DNA expert to have the necks of the victims swabbed, removal scrapings of the fingernails, and x-rays. So I'm sure they wanted the neck swabs to see if, like, Chris's DNA transferred to their neck, like maybe if he was sweating or anything like that. Also underneath the fingernails to see if maybe they had scratched him or anything to try to defend themselves. That would just be my general assumption. The first autopsy performed was Shanann's. I cannot talk today. I don't know why. And Scarlett said that would be Scarlett's guess as well. And Scarlett is an ENT, so would know a little bit more than me. Well, a lot more than me. Sorry, Scarlett. A lot more than me. Shanann had x-rays taken prior to the autopsy, and they were informed that she had a prior neck surgery. She was wearing a purple gray t-shirt, black bra, and blue thong underwear, which were removed and collected as evidence. Shanann appeared to have a large amount of skin slippage and her amniotic sac protruding through her vaginal area. The doctors examined the amniotic sac and removed Shanann's fetus. The fetus was collected as evidence, and the CBI laboratory manager arrived during the autopsy to transport the fetus directly to the CBI's forensic laboratory. During the autopsy, the doctor pointed out several important findings. He advised that Shanann's hyoid bone was broken, although he pointed out bruising to the soft tissue on the right side of the hyoid bone. I don't really know where that is. Scarlett, do you know? He advised he did not note any other trauma to Shanann's body and found no evidence of disease. Okay, that's what I figured. It was something to do with the neck area. Okay. The doctor did advise that Shanann's cause of death was asphyxiation due to manual strangulation. And then they performed Bella's autopsy. Bella was dressed in a pink gown covered in butterflies and a pair of underwear, which were removed and collected as evidence. Bella also had a large amount of skin slippage. Bella was x-rayed, and there were concerns that she may have a broken jaw. The x-rays were sent to a pediatric radiologist at a children's hospital who advised it appeared to be gas in the area of the jaw and not an actual fracture. It also appeared Bella had some scrapes on her buttocks and the top of both shoulders. The doctor pointed out several important findings. He advised that Bella's frenulum, skin connecting to the top lip, skin connecting the top of the lip to the gum, was torn, which created a large hole. The inside of Bella's gum and inner lip also appeared bruised, and it appeared she had bit her tongue. The doctor indicated Bella's death was violent, as it appeared she struggled to get away. The cause of death was ruled as asphyxiation due to manual smothering. He did not note bruising or injury to her neck. The final autopsy was performed on Celeste. She was in a pink nightgown, Minnie Mouse underwear, and a pull-up. The nightgown and underwear were collected as evidence. I guess maybe she put the underwear on top of the pull-up, maybe? She had a large amount of skin slippage. Celeste did not have any obvious signs of injury or bruising around her neck. There was no injuries to her mouth or face. The doctor advised her cause of death was asphyxiation due to manual smothering. Investigators learned that the GPS on Chris's work truck showed he had driven to an oil battery known as Survey 319 in Rogan, Colorado on the morning of August 13th. The definition of sane is being of sound mind, not mad or mentally ill, able to think, reason clearly, lucid, clear-headed, rational, coherent, balanced, well-balanced, stable, and normal. Chris does not fit the description of a sane person with what he did. So is he insane? The definition of insane, in a state of mind which prevents normal perception, behavior, or social interaction, deranged, demented, out of one's mind, unhinged, unbalanced, unstable, disturbed. Was his behaviors more of this definition? Could he be right that there was an evil presence around him? The definition of possessed is being controlled completely by an evil spirit, demon, especially an evil spirit, having complete power over someone and being manifested through their speech or actions. Okay, so that's it. Chapter 22 is the evidence. As the authorities were putting together a case, they did several searches of their home, Chris and Shanae's home. The following is the account of one of the Frederick Police Department officers who helped with one of the searches. By the time the search was done, he had searched the house 3 times, all with Chris's consent. They included the Frederick Police Department, K-9 search, and the CBIs. For this search, Christopher had given full consent for them to collect any and all evidence that police could use to locate his missing family. Christopher told the detectives the home could be processed for forensic methods to obtain evidence relating to their family's disappearance. The detective was told the residents utilized Blue Star latent bloodstain on areas alerted on by canines, and then assessed with the collection of any evidence located in the residence. Let me get on my stream so I can see your guys' comments. All right. The Frederick Police Department would collect and package all evidence located in the search. According to the police department, Chris had been living and assessing the home prior to and since the disappearance of his family on Monday. So, scene observation. The neighborhood and home are located within a newer residential area consisting of large single-family homes. 2825 Saratoga Trail is a 2-story single-family residence located on the south side of the street with front doors facing the north side towards Saratoga Trail. The home has 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms with an office space and an unfinished basement and 3-car garage. Upon entering the front door, there was a living room and dining room. To the left is stairs that would lead upstairs to the upstairs bedrooms, laundry, and loft area. Near the staircase that leads upstairs to a hallway that runs to the east side of the house. The hallway provides access to the basement stairs, a bathroom, utility room, garage entrance, and an office. On the south side of the residence is a full kitchen, eating area, and an additional family room. A door on the south side of the kitchen opens to the backyard. The upstairs portion of the home consists of 3 bedrooms, a playroom, laundry room, a central living television room. The home was in a like new condition with no visible signs of damage and was clean and organized. A walkthrough of the home showed no signs of forced entry at all. The basement and first floor windows, no doors appeared to have been forced or damaged. Hey, Fonda. Hey, Sam and Sam. Okay, so scene processing. Photos were taken of the scene. The Blue Star blood thing was applied to all bathroom fixtures, the tub, shower, sink, toilet, which resulted in no sign of, I'm assuming like blood, but it has this big long word, and I'm not going to pretend like I know how to pronounce that correctly. So, Blue Star was also applied at the location where the searching canines had alerted. Mudroom by the garage and at the top of the basement stairs in the hallway to the mudroom. No signs of blood were observed in these areas as well. Prior to testing, positive and negative tests were done with expected results. I don't know if he had more than one affair. Oh, actually, I want to tell you guys this. Okay, I was doing a little bit more research on this and listening to videos about this. You guys know that there was a guy, Trent, that come forward saying that he had a relationship with Chris as well, right? And he was just like talking about it, but then the police called him in and investigated him. And The police didn't believe his story. Come to find out, there's a connection between Nicole and Trent. They actually went to school together. Yeah, they actually went to school together. So what people tend to believe is that Nicole, Nicole tried to downplay how serious she was with Chris. People kind of speculate that maybe she, got her high school friend to start putting rumors out there that he had this relationship with Chris as well, so they wouldn't focus as much on her. That's what I heard. That's in a video that I watched, and I remember like listening to the video and them connecting the dots and talking about it, and I was like, wow, that kind of makes sense, because she did downplay the relationship. Like, oh, I told him, we can take our time, go make things work with your wife, when in all actuality, she was not trying to let him work on it. When he went to work on it with his wife, or when he went to visit his wife, who were at her parents, she was sending sexy pictures. When he was like, I'm not going to be able to call you, but I can text, she was like, why are you with her? She was looking up wedding dresses. So, definitely she was pursuing him a lot more than what she led the police to believe. So Trent comes forward saying, oh, well, he don't come forward to the police, but he starts putting it out there that he had a relationship with Chris Watts. And when the police find out, they call him, but they never took his story serious. Like, they just didn't believe it. So that's what people are saying, that Nikki put him up to it just to kind of get the heat off her a little bit. A Slim Jim is a stick of like beef that literally is like the shape of a pencil, and you can get the tall ones or you can get the little ones. Someone in the chat asked, what is a Slim Jim? Yes, beef jerky is really good. I love beef jerky. Yeah, her interviewing was really, I don't know, like she didn't want to hand her phone over, and then when they got the phone and was able to get into it, they found out that she Googled, like, can cops retrieve deleted messages, marrying your mistress, men that cheat on their wife, and she tried to claim that when they got together that she didn't know about the wife, but then when she found out that he was in the middle of a divorce. Well, why are you looking up men marrying their mistress if you are dating a man that's in the middle of a divorce? You're not really the mistress per se. If what you told the police is really true, because she basically was like, oh, well, he had me believing that they were just living together for financial reasons, and that they were trying to work it out to where he could get his own apartment, but there was nothing, there anymore. And they were well on their way to, a divorce. So, yeah, she also Googled Shanann Watts like months prior, so she knew. Okay, so while assisting with the search of the home, the police officers observed in the kitchen trash bed sheets and pillowcases. The sheets and the pillowcases were grayish in color, with numerous small light blue, light green, lavender colored squares on the sheets. The bedding was buried beneath other items in the trash. Further examination showed the sheets to be a flat sheet with 3 matching pillowcases. Stains were observed on the sheets and pillowcases. Some of the stains on the sheer, according to the coroner's report, was that of makeup. So the items that were collected at the oil site was 2 plastic bags, a gray and a white sheet, 2 sheets with red stains on it, the sheet that was covered in dirt, the sheet that was placed in a dry room locker, a rake head, a rake handle, and suspected hair from the east tank. The evidence collected from Ch.21 is blue thong-style underwear, mostly see-through, covered in dirt. Shirt, white on top, purple on the bottom, appeared to have a heart logo in the middle of the shirt. The shirt was covered in dirt. It was placed in the same dry locker as the bra and underwear. Black bra, it was covered in dirt. It was placed in the dry locker. Oral swabs from Celeste. Control swabs from Celeste. Oral swabs from Bella. Left palmar swabs from Bella Watts. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Palmar. Right palmar swabs from Bella Watts. Control swabs from Bella Watts. Right palmar swabs from Bella Watts. From Ch.21 Watts. Control swabs from Ch.21 Watts. Driver's side seat cover from work truck. Trace lift from center console. Trace lift from back seat. The items that were not taken by CBI were transported back to the Frederick Police Department and checked into evidence. On August 15, 2018, at 8:59 p.m., the police department requested that an officer secure the doors, the hatch, the hood, and fuel door of Ch.21's white Lexus. Her car was a vehicle of interest in the investigation. They were then asked to have the vehicle impounded and towed by the towing company. They wanted it stored in their secure inside vehicle storage unit. Once the towing company arrived, they had to unseal the front door so the vehicle could be loaded up onto the flatbed tow truck. The police officers followed the tow truck to the secure storage lot. The vehicles were brought inside the storage and sealed with yellow evidence tape. The officer was then notified that the truck Christopher drove was another vehicle connected to the investigation and was also being brought in. The officer remained at the storage facility until everything was closed up and locked. Chapter 23, Reflections of Christopher. Following are the reflections Christopher shared with me through informal conversations. How does a person sum up his life in a few paragraphs? I'm only 34 years old, and just like my family, my life stopped at this age. I took my own life. I lost my family, my house, my job, my friends, everything that meant something to me. I know now Ch.21 and I were not meant for each other. I'm afraid if I tell you my thoughts, you might feel I'm blaming Ch.21 for what happened, but I'm not at all. We were just two completely different people, each with our own views and personalities. Mostly opposites attract and do well, but that wasn't the case with us. When I really think about it, I wasn't true to myself when I first met her. Ch.21 was so beautiful. I remember I couldn't relax and let myself be around and be myself around her. She was confident and a real presence. I'm quiet and I like to be in the background. I tried, probably too hard, and I always wanted to impress her, except on our first date. We were meeting at a theater, and I had no idea what kind. I was thinking a regular movie theater, so I just dressed in sandals, shorts, and a t-shirt. I felt like an idiot when I showed up, and she was dressed to the nines, looking so beautiful, and here I was, dressed for a night of relaxation. I felt so bad and figured she wouldn't give me a second date. But it turned out to be a great evening, and it gave us something we could always remember and laugh about. We dated for over a year, and then we got engaged. I was so proud to buy her one of the biggest diamonds I could afford. I had spent 6 months of wages on her ring, and she loved it. I arranged for both of our families to come down to the beach that weekend, and I proposed to her. We were so in love and so happy. She loved me, and I loved her. Her family loved me. At one point, her mother told her she better hang on to me. We spent the next few months planning for the wedding. Ch.21 had everything perfectly planned out for that perfect day. Our wedding was the happiest day of my life. When I think of good memories, God, man, I think of that day. We had a beautiful wedding, and no bride could have been more gorgeous than Shanann. Like, who is he talking about? Because you know he don't feel this way about her. Like, it's so, like, blows my mind. Life settled into a routine, and some days were mundane like anyone else's life. We had the girls, and they were blessings to our lives. Everything revolved around them and giving them the best life possible. When I think back on what I did, I still cannot believe I lost my whole family, a family I wanted my whole life. It's the most horrible thing I could ever do, and I'm still saying it was not my mind or my hands that did this to them, but the hands and mind being controlled by something evil. I hope people will believe me. Many things made my life a lot less than perfect, at least I thought. Although, if you were to ask me now, I might have a different story about that. Shanann had created a life for us that looked on the outside to be perfect. It almost was, except for me. I needed to rise to the occasion and be a man to help my wife see that she could to help my wife see she could not control everything and everyone in her life. And if she couldn't come to terms with that, then split. I was not able to confront the situation though. I could not go to Shanann and tell her my feelings. I did not need or want such a big house. I was raised in a small ranch home, and we were perfectly happy, but not house poor. Life was much easier for my parents than it was for me when I was raising my family. Although relevant, I guess to the time and paychecks. The big house was totally Shanann's idea. I knew we could not afford it, but as usual, I wanted to make her happy and would not tell her no. We had the house built when we first moved to Colorado. We lived with one of Shanann's friends in her house in the basement for about a year. After we moved out of our friend's house, the friend of Shanann most likely after we moved out of the friend's house, the friend of Shanann most likely had a falling out because they stopped speaking. I never knew what happened between them, but I felt really bad about it because they had been very nice to us to allow us to stay there for so long. Sorry, my nose is itching, you guys. Our house payment was $2,800 a month, with $500 of that payment being insurance, which was not including the homeowners association fees. We were house broke, and that was another stressor for me. I also felt another stressor was when I got paid, I could watch our bank balance go straight down. Shanann spent a lot of money. I felt completely trapped because how would I ever be able to afford my own apartment when we never had an extra dollar? I really didn't like living like that. We also had a lot of bills from the girls' medical bills and Shanann's neck surgery. And there was a lot of debt on our charge cards also. It it had always been important to me to be on time with paying my bills if I had a few extra dollars in case of a rainy day, and have a few extra dollars in case of a rainy day. But we just never got there. We had the house built for us exactly the way we wanted. My only contribution to the house was the outside stonework and the color of the exterior of the house. I was not allowed I was not allowed to have any voice inside of the home. And the house was in my name only. One of the reasons Shanann wanted a big house was because she liked throwing big parties, and she wanted to make it look like we had everything. The parties Shanann would throw were very extravagant. How things looked to other people meant everything to Shanann. My health was always very important to me. I love to work out. In fact, when I get a chance to exercise in prison, I do. Shanann resented my working out. She said it took time away from us, so because of that, I started getting up at 4 a.m. to work out. I used to weigh 245, but lost down up to around 170. Shanann used to get dressed in running clothes and then asked me to take pictures of her, so it looked like she ran with me. I remembered how we would laugh about it. Some evenings, I would run after I put the girls down at night, but Shanann did not like for me to do that either. I told Nikki this was one of the reasons I wanted to separate. We obviously were headed in separate directions, or at least that is one of the things I told Nikki. Now when I say that, I can see how shallow it sounds. I told everyone we had been talking about separating for the last few months, but honestly, we were not. Shanann was completely blindsided by all of what was happening when I was building walls between us. I felt like if I built walls, I wouldn't have to explain anything to Shanann. I did sleep in the basement some, but only at the very end after we got back from North Carolina. We went to San Diego on June 22nd and came back on June 26th. Shanann and the girls left that afternoon, and my life then quickly spiraled out of control. I feel a big reason I wanted to separate was because Shanann was so bossy. She did not show me any respect. She was teaching our girls to act the same way. I realize now we should have gotten counseling. Shanann wanted to, but by then I felt our marriage was too far gone. I also was tired of how controlling she was. I was especially tired of her keeping me and the girls from my family. There wasn't a good reason for me to keep them from them. On the morning of, that's probably the main thing I was so angry about, being told she would keep the girls from me. When Shanann would get upset with my family, it worked on me. The drama from it was constant, and I regret saying horrible things to my parents. They never fought back. They lived so far away and honestly were willing to help whenever we needed anything. I regret I never tried to remain close to them, mostly because I was trying to do what made Shanann happy at the time, but I didn't want to be told that I could not see them either. It always seemed when she would have problems with my mom and my sister, she would then want me to step in, call them, go off on them for how they had treated her. I felt thrown in the middle all the time, and I just wanted us all to get along. Shanann was not really bossy in front of other people because she really was all about appearances. So when we were around friends and family, she wouldn't act like that as much. However, around my family, she would order me around. I did not notice it as much because it was my usual, but my mom used to ask me why I allowed her to treat me that way. When someone is having an affair, it becomes second nature to blame the spouse for all sorts of things while trying to justify why you are cheating. So I don't want to sound like I had an excuse. Shanann and my communication had been broken for the last 5 to 6 years, but it steadily got worse. I blame myself for that because I did nothing to fix it or help it. It got to a point where we didn't have anything of substance to say to each other. I tried very gently to talk to her many times, but it fell on deaf ears. She gave no validity to how I felt. To keep the peace, I would sometimes hang out with her by the bed and keep her company until she fell asleep. Most of the time when I did, though, she would just continue to flip through her iPad and talk on the phone. When I tried talking to her, she would ignore me. She would stop and say, "Oh, were you talking to me?" Because I wasn't listening to you. I have been thinking about killing my family. I didn't want to, but I knew I was going to do it. I did not realize I would feel anger because I didn't know what that felt like. I just knew there was something in me that felt like it was controlling me. There was a feeling of something dark around me. It had seemed like that for a couple of weeks. I'm not blaming Nikki. She's a victim also. Yeah, right. However, I started feeling that way around the time I started seeing her. I call it a demon, and I don't mean that in a religious sense. A demon is the only thing I know to call it. My conscious mind could see what it was going to make me do before I'd done it. I knew that when I started to see how something was going to go. It would definitely go that way. I knew that if I had to tell my parents they couldn't see my kids, it would be really rough on them, especially my dad. It was hard on my mom if she couldn't see me. And of course she wanted to see the girls too. I was afraid what it might do to them. My dad also has had his struggles before, and I didn't want to be what caused him more problems. But now I realize I've caused him the greatest heartache of all. My dad misses Shanann and the girls so much. I don't know. I was always the type of person who would just go with the flow. I didn't rock the boat, but not that day. It made me angry to think about the ultimatum I was given by Shanann. I was tired of not feeling like I could be myself around her, that she tried to think for me, and that that couldn't make decisions, and that I couldn't make decisions on my own. That is one thing I loved about Nikki. I could be myself. I didn't have to pretend or try to be a certain way. I could just be me. In actuality, Shanann had told me she wanted a man that would stand up for himself and not be pushed around. I don't know why I couldn't be that man for her, except she was the one telling me that. I think it may have been criticism. It wasn't her fault any more than it was my fault who we are. Our communication started breaking down a couple years after we were married. It just wasn't easy for me to talk to her. I felt beneath her. She seemed more accomplished than I am, smarter somehow. In the years I was growing up, I really didn't have to think about this sort of thing. My parents never gave me a hard time about being myself. It was actually somewhat different I was actually somewhat different from some of the other kids, more socially withdrawn. The choices I made that morning on August 13th will and should haunt me for the rest of my life. I hear my baby's voice every day as she tried to stop me from killing her. After I was in prison and after I moved to Wisconsin, I received a letter from a woman I did not know. She said she did not know me. She had heard something briefly on the television about the case, but said she really didn't pay much attention to it, so she was not familiar with the story. She wrote me about a dream she had had a couple nights before she wrote me. In her dream, she was walking past a room and saw a baby bed in the room and could hear a small child crying. She walked into the room and noticed something was dripping out from underneath the baby's bed. It was dripping on the floor. She walked over to the bed, looked, and saw the little girl covered in liquid. It was all over the child. So she picked up the little girl, who said, "I'm having so much fun up here." The woman realized the small child was covered in gas. She woke up and was very disturbed by the dream. She remembered something about gasoline from the news. She did not remember my name or anything else pertaining to the case, so she Googled it and found the story. When she saw the picture of my family, she told me she realized that the little girl in her dream was Bella. She said she was writing me to let me know that they are in heaven, and I did not need to keep beating myself up over what happened. I wrote her back, but never heard from her again. I appreciate her writing me about the dream, but I already know without a doubt Bella is in heaven. As far as beating myself up, that will happen for as long as I live. My life, for all intents and purposes, was over, and then I received a letter that lit a fire in me. I was told God could still use me and that I can help others. Maybe I could reach those who are planning on doing something horrendous as I did and offer them a way of hope. I could help save lives that way and serve for the rest of my life. Gonna check the chat out for a second. Yeah, I don't really like the way it's painting Shanann out to be. She just seemed to be like a strong woman, that was confident in herself. And maybe if he would have, I don't know, like stood up for himself more, maybe that would have been okay with her. Like, I don't know, but she's dead and he killed her, and him, like saying all this stuff really makes me feel like he is trying to blame her somehow. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, also him saying that his dad loved Shanann and the girls. Do you guys remember in the interrogation room when Chris told his dad that Shanann killed the girls? There was no crying. He didn't even seem heartbroken. He was just like, she killed them. And he was like, yeah, they were gone. And he was like, gone, like, killed them? He's like, yeah. And then I freaked. I done the same thing to her. He's like, what'd you do? Same thing? What'd you do? You killed her? He's like, yeah, I killed her. I don't know. I hate to assume, but, I already know if my mama was to find out that one of my kids had been killed, she would lose it. It wouldn't just be, yeah, I could, like, I already know, like, my mama would lose it. My dad would lose it. So it really struck me odd that he just didn't seem to be affected by it. I don't know. All right, so chapter 24, the arrest, plea, and sentencing. An agent asked Chris if a police officer could come in and photograph him without his shirt on to make sure he didn't have any marks or injuries. Chris agreed, and the officer photographed his face, head, arms, chest, back, hands, and legs. The officer told the FBI agents the photographs will be placed into their digital evidence storage system. Following the interview, Chris was taken into custody. There was a belly belt put on him, attached to handcuffs. He was escorted to the Frederick Police Department. They drove to the Weld County Jail. On the way there, the officer said he did not talk to Christopher, and Christopher was silent the entire time. At 3 a.m., he was released to the Weld County Jail. Between the time Christopher was arrested and sentenced, there were things that happened at his house that makes a person pause. There is opposite of good, it is evil. Evil can present itself in different forms. Strange things connected to the story, such as one evening, not long after the murders, the police were called. The neighbors saw a woman walking around in the garage. There were police cam videos of 4 policemen arriving at the White's house, clearly show that the garage lights are on. As they opened the door, they were met with an eerie darkness coming from the house. They went inside, yelled several times for whoever was in the house to make themselves known. I remember that, and that was really eerie. It was like, I don't know, I just remember they're like, police, if anyone's in here, make yourself known. And it was just dark. And it was very, I remember watching it and being like kind of freaked out, you know. When they opened the garage door, the lights were off. Wow, so when they got to the house, the garage lights were on. But when they went in and opened the garage door, the garage lights were off. They searched every inch of the house, but no one was there. There was no way out of the garage without coming into the house, without opening the big garage door. But then they would have no way to shut it. It was obvious on police cam that they felt something there too. They kept shining their lights into the darkness over and over. Who turned on the lights? Who turned them off? Another evening at 9:05 p.m., the police were called to the house regarding an unknown person seen going up to the house. Upon arrival, the police advised a neighbor from next door that they had a video pointed towards the White's house. The video showed a large black vehicle pulling up to the address, and then an unknown female stepped out of the vehicle, walked up to the door of the house. The police said the woman could not be seen leaving the residence. The garage lights come on when they had been off. As the police entered the house, they gave large announcements that they were there, but no one said anything and no one was there. They searched the house again, found no one. They turned all the lights off that were on in the house and locked the doors as they left. On September 21st, 2018, the police received yet another message from some unknown person who said her deceased daughter's back door is open at her house. This is the home of Shanann Watts. The police walked the perimeter of the home. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm kind of confused right here. This is what it says. On September 21st, 2018, the police received yet another message from some unknown person who said her deceased daughter's back door is open at her house. This is the home of Shanann Watts. So I don't... The police walked the perimeter of the home. All doors and windows were secure. There were no signs of forced entry. Again, at 8:50, another call came in to respond to the residence. There were lights on that had not been on earlier. Several police officers responded. They searched the residence again. There were lights on. They did not see that anything was bothered. They turned the lights off and left, making sure the doors were locked. What or who was playing in the house? Was it something supernatural? Research shows often demons will play with lights and electronic things. When the agents knew Chris was lying and he had flunked his polygraph test, things moved swiftly. First, they had to find out where the bodies were. It was an unreal task for them to have to empty crude oil batteries in order to get the girls out. His mother, in her quest to find out what really happened, met with many dead ends. The judicial system was very difficult for them to deal with. After the authorities arrested Chris, his family was not allowed to see him or talk to him until the day before the sentencing. Christopher's attorney flew Ronnie, Cindy, and Jamie to Colorado to see him before the I'm going to read this real quick. After the authorities arrested Christopher, his family was not allowed to see him or talk to him until the day before the sentencing. Christopher's attorney flew Ronnie, Cindy, and Jamie to Colorado to see him before he was sentenced. They were told he had pled guilty to killing his entire family. His family feels his attorneys did not make him plead guilty, but they strongly advised him to. All in an effort, they told him to save his life. That did not sit well with Christopher or his family, but for different reasons. He says he had a hard time with it, but did not want the death penalty. His family, not having been told any of the details, felt like he should not have been pleading guilty if Shanann had killed the girls. He told his family he was pleading guilty to all the murders for a reason. However, he gave them no details, so they went into sentencing having no idea about the circumstances surrounding them. The state of Colorado automatically gives a life sentence to someone who murders another individual. The DA said he wanted to seek the death penalty and would have, except Shanann's mother begged him not to. If he had sought the death penalty, he probably would have gotten it. How could circumstances have been more favorable for it? This may show how Sandy Rusek loved her son-in-law more than he realizes. She is to be commended for that. That would be very difficult. If it had all not come down the way it did, if they had not arrested him as soon as they did, Christopher says he had decided to plead guilty anyway. He said he had to get past the anger and memory loss first. In Christopher's own words, however, the morning of the murders did not happen because he just broke into a rage. He may have gotten angry for sure, but this anger had been building for weeks. Some of it for years. He started to plan these killings. Once started, he was not able to stop it. He became obsessed with it. Christopher said had they not gotten the evidence to arrest him, he already planned on confessing to the murders. Yeah, I doubt that. He just couldn't remember everything about the murders to tell them, he says. It was hard for him because at the time he did not feel remorse, but had to pretend like he did. He does not like for people to hate him. He even apologized to the agents during the interrogations that he had lied to them, yet he continued to lie. His attorneys kept telling him and told his family they were just trying to save his life. After he was arrested and told his attorneys what he could remember, they were willing to tell whatever he wanted them to tell about the murders. He said they had some very angry, very stressful times going over the case and what his options were. He said he felt heartless, angry, defiant up until October 1st when it all broke for him. Below is the written plea that was presented on his behalf. I'm the defendant in the case. I've had enough time to talk to my lawyers about the case, and she has discussed the evidence against me. I have fully explained my side to him or her. I believe the DA has enough evidence to convict me at trial. I'm satisfied that my plea of guilty is in my best interest. I understand that I have a right to exercise any or all of the following rights, even against my lawyer's advice: to remain silent about the case, the right to have my lawyer present with me, the right to have my lawyer represent me and be present with me during any conferences or questioning by anyone about this case and at all court hearings and at trial, the right to plead not guilty and have a jury trial, and the right to appeal my case to the highest court if I am convicted at trial. I understand that the right to a jury trial includes the right to help select a jury, the right to confront witnesses to testify against me and have my lawyer cross-examine them about their testimony, the right to be presumed innocent unless and until the district attorney proves my guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to have my lawyer call witnesses to testify for me if I want and if necessary, to have the judge order witnesses to come to court. I've read and understand the elements of the charges that I'm pleading guilty to, as shown on the attached sheets. I've read and understand that possible penalties that I could be sentenced to, which are not shown on the attached sheets. My plea is freely, intelligently, and voluntarily given. I know that I am giving up all the rights I described above. I understand these rights. I'm given these rights and pleading guilty of my own free will. No one has pressured me or tried to make me plead guilty against my will. I have not decided to plead guilty because of anything I have told anyone except for the agreement shown at the attached sheets. I understand that the record may be further supplemented by police reports, affidavits, and other documentation attached or provided at the time of sentencing. I understand if I'm not a citizen of the U.S., this guilty plea may cause collateral consequences, included but not limited to deportation, exclusion from admission in the U.S., or denial of naturalization. I understand the following other sentences in this matter. I have, in certain circumstances, the right to review of my own conviction and sentence. Sorry, guys. A notice of appeal must be filed within 7 weeks, or 49 days of the sentence. I also understand that if I am determined by the court to have the right to assist appointed counsel upon the review of my conviction, and the right to obtain a record on appeal without payment on cost. Additionally, I understand that I may have the right to seek post-conviction reduction of my sentence in the trial court within 18 weeks or 126 days of the imposition of sentence pursuant to crime P 35B. I have read this form and understand that my lawyer has answered all my questions to my satisfaction. Defendant Chris Watts, November 15, 2018. I represent that I have reviewed this advisement with the defendant. I believe she knows her rights to the charges to which she is pleading guilty and the possible penalties. I also believe that the defendant's plea is freely, intelligently, and voluntarily given. Attorney for the defendant, November 15, 2018. On behalf of the Office of the District Attorney, November 6, 2018. The agreement. Defendant will plead guilty to all counts set forth in the complaint and information. Count 1, murder in the first degree after deliberation. Shanann Watts, class 1 felony. Count 2, murder in the first degree after deliberation. Bella Watts, a class 1 felony. Count 3, murder in the first degree after deliberation. Celeste Watts, a class 1 felony. Count 4, murder in the first degree, child under 12, Bella Watts, a class 1 felony. Count 5, murder in the first degree, child under 12, Celeste Watts, a class 1 felony. Count 6, unlawful termination of a pregnancy in the first degree, Nico, a class 2 felony. Count 7, tampering with a deceased human body, a class 3 felony. Count 9, tampering with a deceased human body, a class 3 felony. All sentencing options are on all counts are open to the court. However, in exchange for defendant's guilty pleas, the office of the DA agrees that it will not seek the death penalty. Whether sentencing on separate counts run consecutive or concurrently is open to the court, with the exception that at a minimum the parties stipulate that sentencing on counts 1 through 3 and count 6 shall run consecutively, as each charge references a separate victim. Defendant will not be permitted to waive a factual basis for any charge. The parties further stipulate the defendant will pay restitution as determined by the court, including but not limited to the expenses of the funeral and burial expenses for Shanann Watts, Bella Watts, Celeste Watts, and Nico Watts. Furthermore, the defendant agrees to pay restitution covering the actual cost of specific future treatment pursuant to CRS. Finally, the parties stipulate that the people may withdraw from this agreement if the defendant commits a new felony offense while awaiting sentencing. Hey, Lindsay. I'll give you a carpet update in a little bit. Okay, let's see. Good night, Savannah. We have been on for a while. We've covered the autopsies. Okay, so Christopher Lee Watts, elements, count 1, murder in the first degree. On or about the 13th day of August 2018 in County of Wales, State of Colorado, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, after deliberation and with the intent to cause the death of a person other than himself, caused the death of Shanann Watts. After deliberation means not only intentionally, but also the decision to commit the act have been made after the exercise of reflection and judgment concerning the act. An act committed after deliberation is never one which has been committed in a hasty or impulsive manner. With intent, a person acts intentionally or with intent when his conscious objective is to cause the specific result prescribed by the statute defining the offense. It is immaterial whether or not the result prescribed by the statute defining the offense person, a human being who has been born and was alive at the time of the homicide. Count 2, murder in the first degree. On or about the 13th day of August 2018 in the County of Wales, State of Colorado, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully and deliberately and with the intent to cause the death of another person other than himself caused the death of Bella Watts. After deliberation means not only intentionally, but also the decision to commit the act that had been made after the exercise of reflection and judgment concerning the act. The act committed after deliberation is never one which has been committed in a hasty or impulsive manner. With intent, the person acts intentionally or with intent when his conscious objective is to cause the specific result prescribed by the statute defining the offense. This kind of goes over that with all of them. Count 3, murder in the first degree. That's in reference to CC. Count 4, murder in the first degree. Bella. Count 5, murder in the first degree, and this talks about Celeste. And now it's like changed. Now it talks about knowingly in the position of trust. The unlawful termination of a pregnancy. Christopher Lee Watts with the intent to terminate unlawfully the pregnancy of a woman named Shanann Watts. Unlawfully terminate the pregnancy of the woman. Furthermore, the woman died as a result of the unlawful termination of the pregnancy. With intent, a person acts intentionally or with intent when his conscious objective is to cause the specific result prescribed by the statute defining the offense. Pregnancy means the presence of an implanted human embryo or fetus within the uterus of a woman. Unlawful termination of pregnancy means the termination of a pregnancy by any means other than birth or a medical procedure, instrument, agent, or drug for which the consent of the pregnant woman or a person authorized by law to act on her behalf has been obtained, or for which the pregnant woman's consent is implied by law. Count 7. This just kind of gives like more information to each charge. And we're going to kind of skip that because, I mean, do you guys want to hear all that, or? Trains go by my house nonstop. This goes over like all the charges, and it really just kind of explains them and what they mean. This gives like a breakdown of, okay, the sentencing. We will go over that. So the penalties for count 1, murder in the first degree, in reference to Shenan, he received a minimum sentence in life. A sentence is life in prison without parole. The maximum sentence is death. Chris received life in prison without parole. Okay, Bella Watts, the minimum sentence is life in prison without parole. The maximum sentence is death. Chris received life in prison without parole. Count 3, murder in the first degree, in reference to Celeste Watts. Christopher received life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 4, Bella Watts, murder in the first degree, child under 12, a class 1 felony. He received life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 5, murder in the first degree, children under 12. Celeste Watts, a class 1 felony. He received life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 6, unlawful termination of pregnancy in the first degree, a class 2 felony, Nico. He received 46 years. Count 7, tampering with a deceased human, a class 3 felony, in reference to Shenan. He received 12 years. He received the same sentence for tampering with a deceased human concerning Bella and Celeste as well, both 12 years. The judge's face expressed their grief and horror. This case brought him. It looked like he tried to make eye contact with Christopher, but of course Christopher never really looked up. He probably could feel the judge's eyes on him. The judge said that out of his 17 years on the bench, this was the worst and most brutal case he had ever presided over. He gave Christopher the maximum that the law would allow other than death. Okay, so we're chapter 25. And I think we're going to stop right there. Trust me, when I moved here and I found out there was a train here, I got mad. We're going to stop at chapter 25. That's where we will pick back up. But we can hang out for a little bit, talk a little bit, just hang, because it's 10:30 and this is kind of early. But we will hang out, chit-chat a little bit. But chapter 25, you guys remember that when we come back. I always have to go back into the streams to find out where we left off. Well, the mom's book, if I can get it without paying for it, because I don't want to pay for, my carpet probably disappeared. Oh, I'm used to them now. We've been here for a couple of years, so now it's not a big deal. The only time I notice them now is when I'm on a live stream, honestly. Smart thinking, Scarlett. I need to go back and do that every time. So, we'll hang out for a few minutes, just kind of talk a little bit. I do keep yawning. Wait, what is... Oh, I'm sorry. American Sister, I'm sorry. It's going to go up so you can watch it. You're welcome, Tori. It's 10:35 p.m. Wednesday here. Everyone getting a little personal about your downstairs carpet there because it disappeared. It's it is the carpet in my bedroom. Kennedy poured out a whole bottle of Shout in my bedroom. Hopefully we can make your day a little better, American Sister.